Welcome back. I am back from the break with the yin to the other yang. We are joined with Kigondo Martin from the Busy Being podcast that he hosts with Kamande Wambui. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
This is the magazine, by the way.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm young to the yin.
Young to the yin. Anyway, let's move on to introduce yourself.
Fantastic. My name is Martin Kigondo as an actor. Yeah, but Kigondo Martin as a filmmaker, as a director, as a, a creative, a writer. Yeah, so Martin Kigondo is a name that people get because that's the name they prefer. Pana is not Kigondo Martin, it's Martin Kigondo, so that's what I give them. It's not Kigondo Martin, it's Martin Kigondo. But officially, with the government, it's Kigondo Martin.
AKA Kigondo Martin.
Exactly. Thank you for getting it.
So, an actor, a director, filmmaker, producer, screenwriter, etc. How do you manage all these roles and still manage coming back to the Busy Being Born
podcast? Well, it's not as busy as it would have been had Corona not happened. So right now it's slightly easier, so definitely not complaining. But these are things I do at different times. But are things that I could totally do all at a go because I'm not attached to a particular media house or not attached
you're solo.
Exactly. Yeah. So as an independent filmmaker, I get to pursue the stories I want when I want, which is a blessing.
How's that for you? I mean, COVID hitting, and now guys can go to theaters. How has that been for you?
It's been quite a story, but we are busy being born.
Tell us the story.
I'll try and make it as short as possible. But pre-COVID, what would happen would be within a year, I know I'm producing at least 3 short films, being part of maybe some TV show as a writer or something else. And at the same time, I'd know I'm producing a stage play. So I'd know at least I have one piece of work in the writing process, which takes me roughly 6 months to 2 years. So I'm slow with that, and staging at least 2 plays a year. So it was quite okay. I enjoyed the gist of it, but the through line of all this, or at least what helps me keep the through line of this, is teaching. So I teach speech and performance to young children. So this is what I enjoy the most of all the things I do. So that way I'm able to balance all this.
So why Busy Being Born? I mean, your better half, if I do say so.
Okay, sure.
Said that, I mean, you help out with the creative process. So why Busy Being Born? As in, tell us the creative process from its inception to where it is now.
Okay. So the reason we always, even for this particular interview, we were like hoping to have it as the 2 of us, which still happened. It's part A and part B, yin yang. It's because we are we do the dance very well together. Yeah, so like you figure.
Negative.
Well, no, sure. But it's because we are a lot the same in so many ways. So for instance, the most basic of that could be age-wise, we are a few hours apart.
Wow, how do you guys know that?
Well, of course we know, right? Yeah, his birthday is on the 17th, mine is on the 18th. Etc. We've been friends for years, so before we started this, we kept on talking about a lot of things, a lot of philosophies. We've grown up from almost the same style of parenting, that is from our parents. Both our parents are teachers of English,
Wow.
We have so many things in common. And when our lives came into, our paths came into contact with each other, we were both at a place where we were trying to find out what we wanted to do. So this was right after high school, a year or 2 before campus. So he decided to go in that direction. I went in the other direction, and years later, Busy Being Born got born, and it's because him doing his professional thing in the tech world, mine in the creative world, we kept on talking about where we were spiritually, where we were financially, where we were in terms of settling down, quote unquote. And the more and the deeper these conversations went, the more we figured it would be nice to have someone to talk to and share these stories with. So for instance, one particular story that even birthed this whole idea was a philosophy around St. Augustine. So we found out that both of us were fascinated about his story. But as we spoke of this, we realized that we both listened to the Tim Ferriss podcast, Joe Rogan, among others. So we were like, wait, you also enjoy long form podcasts? Yeah, I can't stand 30 minutes, 10 minutes. I'd rather do a whole 2 hours. So the more we kept talking, the more we started thinking, how about we do this? Yeah, so when Corona happened, so about a year ago, we decided maybe instead of waiting for life to happen to us, why not just get down and do it?
Just by you just talking, I can feel the creativity. Like you're telling the story from here to there, and I can just, you know, I can dot the lines. I mean, a podcast.
Yeah.
I think it's different from a radio station. It's different from a radio show.
Yeah.
Mostly doesn't have a lot of music. Mostly doesn't have a lot. It's just conversation. It's just deep conversation. You're deep into, you know, knowing somebody, and it's also very spiritual for a lot of people. Sure. So then, how then do you depict your creativity? Just the way you're talking to me now, and I have dreamt. You know, I've gone and I've even gone back to your high school days, and I just thought these two guys, wamesema wenda hivi turudi hivi tutapatana. I mean, how then do you ooze the creativity out of now me from outside looking in or hearing in? How then do you bring out that?
Do you work it in?
Yeah.
Well,
do you bring that life and that spark?
I would say just by totally being ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. So as much as Kamande is very techie, he's also very creative as well.
Right.
Yeah. And this helps. And for me, like you figured, I'm silly with a lot of things, but also full of heart. So just by being ourselves, we sort of find a way with the way we interview our guests, the way we find stories as to how they became who they were. So instead of asking, why are you courageous, we'd ask, what situation made you first start thinking about being brave, you know? And just that question, the way we phrased it, would help us now get a story that no other journalist could get.
Never.
Yeah. So this is some of the ways we find the creative juice around interviews and all that. Yeah, but we really enjoy it, and it's fun because you also want your listener to laugh along or get repulsed.
So there's so much comedy.
Is there
also emotions?
Emotion,
yes. Yes, it's emotion.
Yeah.
It's that it means that you have to have a lot of emotion the way you drive your interviews, because now this is just somebody listening to somebody. There's no music. There's nobody hyping you up. It's just conversation. Right. YouTube. Podcasts. People doing podcasts on YouTube. Where then does somebody draw the line?
Yikes. That's a really good question, especially for us because we haven't yet gone into the YouTube space. So we haven't made it visual because one, well, I wouldn't go into every out of the 5 points, why not? But one of the reasons is we still want to build that. We want to tell the guys, even before you see the behind the scenes, we really want you to focus on these stories. So this is the kind of thing we want you to do as you're driving, as you're walking. Like for instance, coming for this interview, I knew I'd have a gap of around 20 minutes to just walk into Tao. So what do? Plug in my earphones and walk as I listen. So that is our intention. So the YouTube idea is very good for the numbers and people knowing about you. But for now, we'd love to see the numbers, but that is not our priority.
Does it take away from the sincerity and the the whole what's the word?
What? The intensity of
the intensity, the trueness. There's a word I'm looking for, but it's not.
You'll get it when you least need it. I don't think it does, but for me, for one, as a filmmaker, I'll definitely feel slightly weird if I really don't like the frame and I can't stand it for the next 2 hours, you know? But we want you to know a podcast is a thing you could do as you're doing something else, So definitely going visual is not a priority for us right now, but we'll get there. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have decided, you know, we'll give you snippets of it.
How is that not a priority for you, considering your background in filmmaking? I would think that that's something that you would jump
Yeah.
you know, jump on.
I don't want to, I want to do work, then come and just have fun here. And even if we go in that direction,
Right.
I told them when we started having that conversation of whether to go visual or not, I was
Right.
like, yeah, we could, but I'm not sure I want to be the guy behind that, because I just want to come and have fun here, and
Yeah.
not be at work. Yeah.
So this is a question I was dancing around, but this is a business station.
Okay.
I just wanted to know, how then is the money made?
I'm sure every time you interview entrepreneurs, they'll tell you, well, the lucky ones definitely get their break very soon. But just like many others, especially in the creative sector, you have to first lead with the heart, then everything else follows. And we knew this, and we knew, especially podcasting not yet being a big thing around here, we knew it might take a while before we started balancing how
Why is
the
that?
math would work. Man, it will get there. It will get there. Our ecosystem borrows a lot from the Western culture. And if something hit big in New
the
York,
West, yes.
man, no, in Nairobi, it's only a
Jeez.
matter of time.
Then, I
you
mean,
know?
is that not contrary to what you guys are talking about African
Yeah.
stories?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like African stories are just really diluted. We don't get to hear the real African stories, because at the end of the day, if you're telling me that we are, you know, gravitated towards the Western, you know, the
Yeah.
Western world, anything that Western is Westernized
Yeah.
is what we adapt. And I feel like as Kenyans, we have really washed out our cultures. And podcasts like this are very, very important, that we remember
Yeah, where we are from.
where
Yeah.
we are from. And it's, I don't know, it's just quite,
Man.
yeah.
Well, you'll have to use the tool that is in front of you, yeah?
Yeah.
Because, for instance, if we decided to start something different altogether, that might take us forever. So what we do, we use the plugs on which they are linked to tell them, hey, they told you 3 lines about Tomboya
Tomboya.
in GHC or social studies,
right.
but guess what? Using this interview will
Yeah.
tell you 3 hours of Tomboya,
Yeah.
and you'll start thinking, well, maybe I got everything wrong.
Yeah.
So that's what the purpose of Busy Being Born is, not only to look at, because culture doesn't just focus on our history.
On our
Culture
history.
is ever changing.
Food?
Yeah, sure. So we don't have to just talk about Githeri, but our culture, since it's ever growing,
Yeah.
is what are we eating right now? It's Githeri with some kachumbari on the side, and that's
Yeah.
what we are doing. We won't
That's
just
lit.
tell you about Jaramogi Oginga Odinga.
Yeah.
We'll tell you, guess what?
What?
There's this person who has a name similar to Jaramogi,
Yeah.
but they are a podcaster, and this is how
Podcaster.
they are being
Right.
the best at who
and
they
how
are.
they even got the name and all those kind of
Exactly.
things. All right, so this is the last question. What are you expecting, before we go, what are you expecting from the Busy Being Born? Do you want to cross borders? What are we seeing apart from the visual aspect of it that you said
Yeah.
not right now? What else is coming
Busy
up?
Being Born. Well, we're excited for other Africans as well, you know, because so far, thanks to the season, we've only been able to interview Kenyans. So
Yeah.
we've done the next episode, which should be out in a couple of days, Cindy Ogana. We've had Tony Moshama. We've had Angie Mwandanda. We've had all these phenomenal Kenyans. So we are like, you know what, we'll give you more Kenyans, but we have Ghanaians we want to talk to. We have
Right.
Egyptians, Ethiopians. We are 54 different African countries
Yeah.
with 54 million plus different stories. So we are excited for all these different
So
guests.
this is just the beginning of,
For
you
sure.
know, the podcast
For sure.
being overseas. Munaenda maju.
Yeah, tunaenda huko. Well, and
Yeah.
particularly maybe for the enjoyment of the African in the diaspora, but sana for the guys who are here.
Right.
And if you relate, even if you're not African, good for you, but we are
Right.
celebrating ourselves.
That has been a very, very, very beautiful talk. I mean, it has been exceptional, guys. We're going on a break. We'll be right back with Real Talk.